Hey, welcome to my Ultimate Ironman. In this series, you can follow along as I track my progress across this restricted game mode. In this adventure, I want to track my perspective as a casual player and hopefully showcase some of the weird and wonderful ways of playing old school RuneScape.
Hello, and welcome back to my Ultimate Ironman. So today I just wanted to take some time to ramble about a few things that I wanted to discuss while I tackle some hunter training in the background. First and foremost, brace yourself for a scary looking inventory. It is an absolute mess, but we're not here to discuss that. Um, with this little ramble, I just want to breeze over some of the goals that I had laid out for myself at the beginning of this account, which I have slowly but surely they've gotten more ambitious. And I'll also try and detail my thought process along the way. On the side here, I do have a little loose script that I'm going to try and stick to just so I don't go rambling too much. And I'll do my best to keep the hunter training consistent in the background. First of all, let's make sure orange salamander is correct. So first and foremost, like I said, I just want to cover some of the goals that I had on the creation of this account, and also as I progressed and where they've led to. It's something I've wanted to discuss for a little while, so I figured there's no better time than the present. So we'll get straight into it. In the background, I am just attacking some hunter rumors, and I'll explain my inventory at some stage, no doubt. So first and foremost, when I created this account, I had originally intended to keep it free to play, and my original goal at the very start was just to try and complete all of the free to play quests. A very simple and straightforward goal, and at the start of this account, I figured that would be an accomplishment in itself. I never thought I would ever consider playing an Ultimate Iron Man, especially not to this extent. So at the very start, I did struggle a lot with playing the account and having an objective, even a small objective such as setting the free to play quests. It did turn into a bit of a struggle for me, more so just trying to find the time to play. So when I did have a few hours to spend on a gaming session, I didn't really want to spend it on a temporary account. I'd rather just play my main Ironman and make some actual progress. But after logging on and off 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, eventually logging back off again, not making any progress, one day something just clicked, something just hooked me in. I referenced in a previous video about finding a bronze pickaxe in Remington, and then also finding another bronze pickaxe spawn in Lumbridge. And I can still remember the joy that I had to this day of just finding such a mundane item spawn. And I think this was, oh my god, I love Hunter Rumors so much. But finding that bronze pickaxe spawn, I think this was the start of the process of me starting to fall in love with the Ultimate Iron Man game mode. Let me just reset all this really quickly. But at the same time, like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely do not plan on playing this account as my main account or doing any kind of end game completionist content. It's just not my playstyle. I struggle to do that on my main Iron Man, so I'm sure as hell not going to do it on an ultimate. I'm going to keep these nets and ropes just in case I get a back-to-back salamander task. So the whole point of this video was just to kind of address my growing list of goals, so to speak. So starting off in free to play, I just wanted to tackle the free to play quests. Now, after some time, I did decide that I did want to tackle the big bad world of Gielinor, the real Gielinor, the membership segments or the membership areas, so to speak, and embrace the challenge as much as I could. In itself, I thought that would be a motivator because just by paying for membership, I'm forking out real money out of my pocket. So I thought, well, this will help motivate me to keep me playing. And when I do play, obviously on a member server, there's a lot more available to me and there's a lot more progress I can make. But if you've seen any of the previous videos, you'll know that this wasn't the case for the most part. The beginning of this account, my main struggle was just finding the motivation or the time to play. And then when I did play, I didn't really have any objectives to work towards. Now, 1 second, I'm just going to rock in here, hand this over. Give me some XP, thank you very much. Sure do. And spotted Kebbits. I believe that's falconry, which is perfect because falconry is the greatest thing that's happened to this game in terms of hunter rumors. Anyway, I do tend to take long breaks with this account, and then just sporadically binge the account and just put it on an unintentional hiatus, which is why I call it a casual playthrough. I'm doing my best to try and play the account my own way, not follow any guides, not follow any structured routes, and just do what I want to do. Which is a blessing and a curse. Because as much as you want to have freedom in the account, you also do need to have some sort of structure, and obviously with a limited inventory, this is an absolute mess. The less planning you do, the kind of more issues you're going to face. So there are also so many other amazing players out there that just make the Ultimate Iron Man game mode look so easy. They're able to put in those relentless hours for grinds, and they just make it look so easy. And I kind of got thinking to myself then, well, I wonder what like a casual player could accomplish in this game mode. Obviously you're not going to see this account of Theater of Blood. You might not even see this account ever create a stamina potion at this rate. But I just wanted to give it a go and see how it could happen. I do not want that bowstring. Get out of here. So that brings me then to obtaining membership. And very quickly I became quite overwhelmed with the options available to me. Where do I go first? What do I try next? What do I prioritize? I had absolutely no idea. And very quickly I literally found myself bank standing in Draenor as an Ultimate Iron Man. Which I'm sure you can see the irony in that. Now with these, I'm going to say I get this within 5. So give me 1 second here. Let's see if we can drop this off. There's 1. Here's 2. No. Can we get it in the 3rd? Gimme. Nope. Can we get it on the 4th? Gimme. Nope. Can we get it on the 5th? We cannot. Alright. So anyway, I got membership and became very quickly overwhelmed with all of the options available to me and all the possibilities. And this is when I started to realize that I had to have a goal. I had to have something in place for me to strive towards and something to work towards and to try and obtain. And of course, like the easy answer would be, well, go get a quest cape, go push for the corrupted gauntlet, or go prioritize trying to get to raids. If you've watched any of the previous episodes or listened previously, you'll know that that's not really my playstyle. I'm a casual player. I'm a bit of a lazy player. And I wouldn't call myself the most skilled player in the game either. You're not going to find me chopping teaks or power mining, all that carry on. Or I have this little icon up here for prayer flicking. I don't do prayer flicking. I don't bother with all that. That's not my game style. But I did then realize that I need to temper my expectations. So with that being a bit of an OG player, as they say, I did play RuneScape from way back in the day. There was 2 things that always had my attention, or at least caught my eye, and 2 things I was always thought, that's really cool. Awesome. I love hunter rumors. So get out of here. And those 2 items, which I'm sure some of you could probably guess, is the fire cape, and of course, barrows. So this kind of set my first goal on the account, or I suppose what you could say is my first pair of goals on the account. I figured as an Ultimate Iron Man, if I was able to obtain a fire cape and also potentially get some nice barrows armor, that would be me happy. I would be very happy to call it a day there. But I also don't want to stop playing the account, so I figured, well, if I can get to a fire cape, get some nice barrows armor, I could just start Slayer, just become a little Slayer nerd. I love Slayer. I think it's, if you ever struggle with like wondering what to do in the game, just go slaying. Slaying literally tells you what to do. If you do Konar Slayer, she'll tell you what to go kill and where to go kill it, I should say. It literally takes out the thinking of the game. No thought process required. Perfect for someone like me and for my playstyle. Plus, I also knew that I could sustain myself in the kind of early mid game pretty much for free through like the Warriors Guild. They have access to stat boosting potions. You can get easy access to food. As an ultimate, that's great. Hand this in real quick, and please don't give me butterflies. Horn, oh Jesus, that's not much better. Horn Grax, where those are in Taibo 1, I think. But anyway, so I had the bare bones plan of a goal in mind, figuring, right, we'll push towards trying to get a fire cape and everything that comes between there, and we'll see if I can get some Barrows armor. Now, the eagle-eyed of you might realize I've got some Barrows in my inventory right now. Pay no attention to that. We'll cover that some other time. I also need a knife. So I've came from wanting just to play my ultimate in free-to-play and trying to obtain the free-to-play quests to now wanting to get a fire cape and some Barrows armor and then potentially get into Slayer. Sweet. So along the way in my adventure, I done some construction, as all ultimates will probably do. And then this also gave me an idea for a little side objective, or like a side quest, or a side goal, I suppose you could say. And this was just to try and stock my player-owned house as best as possible. Now, anyone who's not aware, the player-owned house for an ultimate is very useful due to the costume room. The costume room allows you to store armor sets. Some armor sets are as basic as Graceful, which I'm wearing at the moment, all the way up to like end game raid armor. You can store Masori and all this carry on. Now, I'm not planning to go that far with it, but I did want to see how far I could take it in terms of what items are genuinely reasonably attainable for me. Is that a Garak? A Garak, it is indeed. I wanted to go for the items that were actually attainable for my playstyle, and this gave me a side objective then to go for. First and foremost, this led me to then the proselyte armor, the prayer armor, as people might know it as. And most people won't actually be familiar with this armor. They might only ever use it for one instance, for example, AFKing Vires just for the prayer bonus. But for me it was my go-to armor set, my go-to combat armor set. It has stats similar to Adamant, which of course isn't great, but it is what it is. It's an easy obtainable and pretty much a free armor set, which more importantly is storable. Perfect for my playstyle. So now we've got obtain a fire cape, get some Barrows gear, and we're also attempting to stock the player-owned house as best as we can. So now we have obtain a fire cape, get some Barrows gear, and while we're at it, also attempt to stock my player-owned house, which all nicely fits into the whole background of this video. I'm doing hunter training. You might think, well, why are you doing hunter training? So at the minute, I am 71 hunter, approaching on 72. And at 72, assuming I've done all of my checking correctly, that then unlocks the mixed hide armor set, which is a ranged armor set, which is also storable. Awesome, perfect for me. So then I have proselyte armor, which is my melee armor, so to speak. I will have mixed hide armor very soon. And then from there you might think, well, what about magic? The best thing about the player-owned house, you can store mystics. You can obtain mystics very easily, 66 magic, in the Mage's Guild. So perfect. I have the fundamentals and the foundation for all three combat styles. Perfect for my playstyle and for what I was trying to obtain for this account. So if I wasn't hooked on the account before, I think now is when I'm starting to get really hooked because of the fundamentals and the foundations that I'm putting down. My only issue is finding the time to accomplish all of this, but again, as a casual playthrough, I am in no hurry, and I'll do what I can as quickly as I can, and look, if it takes months, potentially years, I mean, I'm all for it. It's a journey along the way. It's an adventure after all. And it's an adventure that I've never done before. Like teasing Horn Garax for these spike traps. I have never done this content before until I've had to do it now recently. It's reviving old content that's potentially 10, 15 years old and making it feel fresh again. It's putting a new spin on it. And to me, I think that's amazing. I really, really love it. I need to get some logs. Logs, please. So next on the list, quite early on, I found myself killing the Rat King, Scurius himself. I don't know what it is about him, but I love Scurius. I love the fight. It's super easy. You don't need to pay too much attention. It's not too punishing if you mess up. And the fight itself, I don't know what it is. I just find it enjoyable. The downside to Scarius is that the rewards aren't all that great. Outside of getting his bone weaponry, which is actually pretty good combat training early on, there's not much you can get from Scarius. His drops are very subpar. And for an ultimate, there's no real reason to spend a significant amount of time there. But for me, I love Scarius. I love the design of Scarius. I enjoy the fight, as I mentioned. He's going to jump, of course he is. So this then led me to think of a long-term goal, something further off in the distance that I could try and tackle or focus on. And that was to obtain a pet. Now, Scarius would be the most... Come on, my son. This is so good. This is so nice. Hunter rumors are the way forward. I'll actually take this meat and we'll teleport. So this led me to then wanting to get a pet, and Scarius would be the most obvious choice just due to how easy he is to fight. And again, I enjoy the fight anyway. And again, with Scarius, you don't need to use food if you just prayer flick everything. It's very flickable. It's an entry level boss, so to speak. And there's a prayer altar right outside. So then this then leads me to believe, okay, we'll push for the fire cape, some Barrow's armor, and along the way we'll throw in sprees of killing Scarius, and hopefully we can try and snag that pet. Now there are other pets you could go for, which would deserve honorable mentions, which I won't cover today. Of course, there's also skilling pets, but Scarius in particular is the one I kind of wanted to go for. I love the design, in the ugliest but nice way possible. No butterflies, no butterflies. Some orange salamanders, happy days. Drop. Orange salamander, that's where I just was, in the desert. So, I would love to get a little mini rat king of my own in my Barrow's armor with my fire cape while doing some Slayer. I just think that would be cool. And then, but then I thought to myself, well, the Barrow's armor, it's cool and all, but surely, why stop there? Surely if I'm going to try and commit to what will eventually turn out to be a pretty big grind in terms of trying to get a Slayer pet, or a Scarius pet, so to speak, I could probably strive for some better gear maybe, or maybe gear that doesn't degrade. And this got the cogs turning again. So I started to think, well, what will help keep me... Where am I going here? So I started to think, well, what could I strive for that could be potentially better than Barrow's, but also fit my playstyle, and also, most importantly, is actually possible for me to obtain. And after a little bit of thinking, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. It is the gradual next step from the Barrow's armor. It was literally introduced to be the next step from Barrow's armor. And I'm sure some of you could guess what it is already. It's also based in Varlamore, which on my ultimate account is my favourite part of the game, continent in the game. And that is Perilous Moons, which I'm sure you've probably realised. Perilous Moons and Varlamore by extension, I think, is awesome. It's super engaging, it's self-sufficient, it is, all in all, it is just perfect for an Ultimate Iron Man. Now, I could make a whole ramble on how awesome Varlamore is and the Perilous Moons, but I'm rambling enough as it is, stretching this probably longer than it needs to be. So my little list of humble goals, which originally started as, let's see if I can complete all of the free-to-play quest, has now spiraled into quite a list of, at least to me, substantial goals. Let me just grab these real quick and drop you. We're going to the desert. And also, along the way of trying to get the Fire Cape, Barrows, then eventually the Perilous Moons, and then eventually, hopefully, the pet, who knows what I'm going to add to the journey along the way. Who knows what other obstacles or distractions I will face along the way. And that personally has me really, really excited for this journey. I never thought I would get this hooked on the Ultimate Iron Man game mode. Honestly, I never thought I would even get to the levels that I'm at. No spoilers for what's to come, as this is just a ramble video, but I'm sure you can see some things in my inventory already. I will discuss my very terrible inventory in a moment. But I'm really excited for the future, so to speak, of this account. I'm really excited to see what's to come. I'm really excited to see, what can I achieve on this game mode. I'd spoken very loosely before about not wanting to death pile and make use of that quote unquote mechanic, but that I do plan on using Hispori, because I hate to admit it, but I think at some stage you do have to accept that you are going to need to be able to fully clear your inventory, this, that, the other. Some people use Zulrah, some people death pile, some people use Hispori, some people use all three. Me personally, I just intend on using Hispori. But that again is for a future video. So quickly, just while I hopefully get this quick hunter rumor completed, I just want to address my inventory. My inventory is an absolute mess. Take no notion of it. It's not usually this bad, but I think it sums up kind of how I play this account. Just one thing leads to another, which leads to another, which before you know it, you've only got 8 inventory slots to work with. It was a lot cleaner a few days ago. Originally, I was training my hunter, specifically just via birdhouse training. So it was just all AFK training. I logged in kind of every hour when I could, reset my birdhouses, log back off. If I was playing on a proper gaming session, I'd hop back onto my main Iron Man, come back an hour later, rinse, repeat. Or I might just do one birdhouse a day. Have to go to work. You know how life gets. But then I've actually got a little bit of time off work recently, which coincided with the Old School RuneScape community event, the bingo, which I think was quite fun. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a shorter event than I had anticipated, so I completed that quite quickly. I also completed not the full grid, but about 95% of it, also on my ultimate to bank up some points that I probably won't use. I was hoping the points would be transferable to the league rewards. Unfortunately, they're not, at least at the moment. But who knows what the future could hold. I need to let this reset. So currently, when I started doing these hunter rumors, I had to do a few basic rumors just to get my block list set up, which has caused me to gain these 3 sacks, basic sacks. I do plan on opening these quite soon, just at the end of this video. Make sure I don't lose my ropes. And then again, the spirit seeds I literally only got last night when I was doing my final birdhouse run of the night. Spirit seeds can be traded into the farming guild for an elite or hard farming pack, which I know will contain some useful seeds, so I can't drop those. I have no issues dropping U seeds, maple seeds, papaya, calquats, none of that. Don't care. I'm dropping all of my bird's nest as I go because I can't make use of them, and I'm not spending the effort trying to make use of them, so I don't care. I'm not attached to them, and I don't plan to be. But spirit seeds, they're stackable. They will be useful to me, so I have to keep those for the moment. So I'll be trading those in once I hit my goal, which is not actually 72 hunter for the mixed hide, but I'm actually going to grind through till 75. And there should be more on that in the future. If you know much about Hunter, RuneScape, and if you're putting together how I play, you might be able to guess where it's going. But we'll not worry about that today. Finally, down here, obviously I've got my seeds. Feathers, I should be dropping these because I don't plan on using them, but because they're a single slot item, they're stackable, and me personally, I like to see numbers go up. They're just gradually, since I've started my birdhouse grind, I'm just stacking my feathers. I might use them for barbarian fishing, I don't know. Again, figure that out later. But then down here, I made the mistake during birdhouses. Originally, I got a hard clue. I opened it, had a quick look at it, and it was a Draenor step. And I was low on seeds. I had to go to Draenor anyway. I figured, you know what? I'll see how far I can take this hard clue. 6 steps later, I've got my first ever hard casket on the account. Now, 52 construction does not bode well for my hard casket, because when I open it, no matter what it is, I won't be able to store it. And I can tell you for free right now that I am not doing the construction grind to get the final chest. Medium, on the other hand, I might. I don't know. I still need to consider the mahogany homes, see how grindy it is, see how possible it is. That's a plan for another day. But I figure for this little video, I'm just going to drop these sacks here, or open these sacks, sorry, in a few moments. And I'll also open the medium, because realistically, there's nothing useful I can get from the medium outside of holy sandals or ranger boots. Now, if I put ranger boots on recording on an Ultimate Iron Man, I might shit myself. But that also then will open up a whole new step for me, because that means I have to go and do the construction grind. I think I only need 63 last time I checked, I think is the right level. But for me, I can't stand construction. Getting to 52 was hard enough for me, so going to 63 is going to suck. But if I get ranger boots or holy sandals, I mean, I can't exactly drop them. So that'll be interesting. So basically what I want to do here now is I want to hopefully get lucky in one of these 3 net traps and get this goddamn item. Here it is. Nope. Nope, here it is. I'm confident. This is it. This is it. Nope. I shouldn't be confident. Reset that trap. And then, yeah, we'll get this whole video wrapped up. So I'll reset this trap because I don't think the salamanders are going to give me their piece yet. And there was one final little topic I just wanted to discuss really quickly before I kind of fully wrapped up the video. And that was just to discuss or go over the audio issues that I have been facing previously. I think I'm happy to say I've got to the bottom of it, and hopefully the audio in this video should prove that. I know it's not going to be the cleanest, crispest audio, but it should at least be loud enough that people can actually hear it and make sense of what I'm saying. If my accent's too much, that's fair enough. That's a whole different issue. But volume-wise and audio-wise, clarity-wise, I just want to make sure it's a little bit improved. My original issue was I was using a fucking 10-year-old mic. It was a blue snowball of all things that had just been sitting in my cupboard gathering dust for the last 10 years. But I figured because it was a dedicated mic that it would be better quality. Realistically, I would have been better off just using my phone, you know. But look, that's a lesson learned. And also when I play myself, I tend to have my laptop and all of my volume settings all over the show, but usually, you know, quite low. And when I was recording stuff, the settings were also low, which I think may have also had a knock-on effect. So plus having the really crappy mic didn't help. So I'm happy to say, and hopefully you're happy to hear, the audio is considerably better. Still has improvements to make. There's always going to be improvements to make. But I've gotten to the bottom of the audio, thankfully, so there shouldn't be any more audio issues. And then in terms, good stuff. In terms of then just the quality of the videos, I don't have a clue when it comes to editing or how to edit, or, you know, I'll be honest, I don't really have an interest in spending the time to learn either, because it's such a time investment. So, you know, I'm a Windows Movie Maker master at this stage. I say that with sarcasm, if that wasn't picked up on. But that's what I'm using. So I'm rocking Windows Movie Maker, and I am literally just clip dumping the images that RuneLite has gathered for me. It was the whole reason I decided to make this series in the first place. So I will try my best to try and make this little series as digestible as possible, you know, as enjoyable as it can be. But also I just want everyone's expectations, or anyone's expectations who might come across this, just don't be expecting, you know, the greatest polished super edits. It's going to be a lot of image dumps from RuneLite, maybe a small bit of B-roll footage when I can be bothered to get it and mess about with it. And then also I'll do my best to try and just kind of make it not so boring, which if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking, well, buddy, you've already failed. But look, I just wanted to put a little bit of I put a plan out there of where this account is going. What's the objectives? Our objectives are constantly changing, but the broad goal is just try and get the fire cape, try and get some barrows. And when I say barrows, originally I had thought if I can get a barrow set, for example, the Guthin set for the passive healing, that this would be the way forward. After a lot of hemming and hawing and deliberating, I've realized that's probably not a great idea, not going to happen for someone like me. So just any kind of real ragtag barrow set is going to do me happy. I'll be very happy if I've got a Guthin skirt so far. If I can pair that with a Verax brassard, which are probably the two worst pieces to get, I don't care. That'll do me for now, at least anyway. Hunter, what are we? 4.5k. Happy days. No butterflies. No butterflies. Yeah, that's fine. It's not butterflies. Some people might enjoy butterfly rumors. I absolutely can't stand them. at least with the horned Goroks or Goroks, whatever the hell they're called, you're done within 30 catches. Butterflies, you're going up until as far as 150. And my run energy, nah, I don't like butterflies, so that's what I try to avoid. I think my birdhouses might actually be done. Let me see, how much XP am I off? 7.5. No, I still won't get the level with the birdhouse run anyway, so I won't get the level in this video, unfortunately. But that's fine because you know what's coming. 72 is on the horizon. We're going to keep pushing until we get 75. We will get mixed hide very, very soon, and I'm very excited for that. It's been something I've been pushing towards for a little while. But yeah, I suppose without further ado, I suppose I should get this all wrapped up. So I don't know how these work, if these are all going to open together or if we're just going to open one at a time. Pretty much everything's getting dropped outside of maybe the hunter's backpack if I get it. The Quetzal seeds, because I'll be stacking those also, which is why I want to open these, just to get this spot open for the Quetzal seeds. And then I'm going to get some bone shards, no doubt, which depending on how many I get, I might just pop back to the Camtor mine and do that AFK style. I don't know. Anyway, hunter, loot, sack, basic, go. Okay. 1, shite. Okay. 2. Nope, get you out of my inventory. 3. Get you out of my inventory. Goodbye. 4. So we'll take that. 4 Quetzal feeds from 3 basic sacks. We will take that. That's alright, actually. I'm happy with that. I need to figure stuff out here. Am I going to go do mining? I don't know. I don't care. More importantly, I'm panicking here. Medium clue casket. Are you going to bless me? Are you going to curse me? Or are you going to be completely useless? Let's find out. I was panicking, but I've had that now for the last 24 hours and I have been panicking. I was fully convinced that was going to be something that was like going to fuck up my journey and like, oh no, I've got to go do construction. That's awesome. I have alchemy on me, so we'll get rid of those real quick. I will probably record when I open this hard casket, but I will not be opening it anytime soon. So it is going to sit in my inventory for a little while. So yeah, with that said, how many are we on? 41 hunter rumors completed. We might actually get to 100 before I get 75. So that'll be interesting in itself because I believe then my whistle gets upgraded. But yeah, listen, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much, especially if you have made it this far. And you know yourself at this stage, if I can find it. Until next time.